The colony on Aris-9 was peaceful. The skies were clear, the farms were green, and the people smiled. Children laughed near rivers, old scientists taught young students, and traders moved quietly between towns for almost 200 years. No one had even seen a gun. Humans had changed. They had become peaceful, soft, and calm. There was no war, no army, and no fear. Then everything changed. The sky cracked open. Dark shadows fell across the fields. At first, people looked up, confused. Giant ships, black and spike, floated above the colony. No flags, no signals, just silence and power. These were not traders. These were not allies. These were the Zarn. Dominion. A voice came from the sky, cold, sharp, without emotion. This planet is now under Zarn control. Surrender or be destroyed. The humans didn't understand. They tried to respond. They offered peace, trade, and welcome. But the Zarn didn't come for trade. They came for power, for control, for war. When the humans refused to kneel, the attack began. The first blast hit the central city. White light, heat, then dust. In seconds, a place full of life became a crater. The screams didn't last long. Fire covered the skies, turning blue into orange. Towns vanished, roads broke apart, the forests burned. The humans had no weapons, no defense systems, no warning. It wasn't a battle, it was a slaughter in one small valley. Hidden beneath the floor of an old observatory, a boy named Kalen held his breath. He had watched his parents die, the school destroyed, his town gone. Now he was alone. Ashes covered his face. His eyes were full of fear, but not tears. Not yet. The observatory had a secret, an old, almost forgotten thing buried under the stone. A machine, round, black, silent. Kalen had heard stories about it. His grandfather once told him, if the stars ever scream again, Kush, the red circle. Stars were screaming now. He crawled across the broken floor. Flames danced outside the window. Ashes fell like snow. He reached the machine. His hand shook. He looked up once, then pushed the red circle. The machine blinked. A soft hum filled the room. Then, a pulse. A signal shot into space. It was fast, silent, ancient, made long ago from Earth's deepest codes. It traveled through stars, clouds, and dust until it reached a cold, hidden place. Far away, beneath the frozen ice of Earth's south pole, an old system powered on not machines woke. Lights turned green. Massive underground engines began to spin. A voice, smooth and strong, echoed through the dark. Protocol Warborn, activated. Back on Aris-9, the boy sat quietly. He didn't smile. He didn't cry. He just whispered. One sentence into the not glowing beacon. They killed everyone. Tell Earth, it's time. The Zarn ships didn't notice the signal. They continued their work, burning, crushing, laughing. They sent a report to their empire. Target destroyed. Resistance, none. Victory, complete. But they were wrong. Back on Earth, old generals who were thought dead opened their eyes. Deep in bunkers, warriors of the past rose from frozen chambers. Their eyes burned with memory. These were not new soldiers. These were the war-burned humans built for war, trained in silence, hidden for a day like this. The galaxy had forgotten. Them the galaxy was about to remember. The signal from Aris-9 traveled fast, but the response from Earth was faster. Far beneath the Himalayas, a door opened for the first time in 100 years. Kay said was not a room, but a war vault. A long black hallway with blinking lights, sealed tanks, and armored suits. Men and women in deep cryosleep began to wake. Their eyes opened slowly, eyes that had seen hundreds of battles, now filled with cold purpose. General Riker was the first to stand. He didn't speak. He looked around the room. The names on the walls, names of lost colonies, forgotten battles, and dead soldiers flashed red. A large screen showed a live feed from RS-9. Smoke, fire, silence. Then, it's the small voice of the boy. They killed. Everyone, tell Earth. It's time. Riker clenched his fist. So it begins, he said. In orbit, above Earth, old warships powered on. Ships that hadn't moved in a century, covered in dust. Okay? Engines cold. But they were not dead. They were waiting. Long, dark vessels shaped like knives. Built not for defense, but revenge. Each ship had one name, Retribution Class, and they were angry. On the Zarn Dominion's capital ship, the crew laughed. They watched the burning of RS-9 like a game. Weak humans, one captain said. Soft and slow. They didn't even fight. Another officer replied, Earth won't respond. They're farmers now. They've forgotten how to fight. But at that exact moment, deep sensors on the Zarn ship beeped. A pulse. A new contact. Then, more. Hundreds. The officer leaned in. What is this? From the black edge of space, they came. One ship, then 10, then 50. No signals. No greetings. No warnings. Just silence. And they were not normal ships. Their metal was black and sharp, with red lines that pulsed like veins. Their engines didn't glow. They burned, and their speed was impossible. General Riker stood at the command window of the lead ship, the Havoc Blade. Open the vault, he ordered. A tech officer hesitated. Sir, the vault hasn't been touched in 100 years. Riker's voice was calm. Do it. Below the ship's floor, a massive door opened. Inside were weapons never seen by the modern galaxy. Cannons that used dark matter, missiles that could bend light. And at the Centerosphere, quiet, glowing blue, the Judgment Core, once active. It could end a planet in hours. But Riker didn't fire it. Not yet. He wanted them to see, to fear, to remember. Back on the Zarn ship, panic began. These are not Earth's ships, one commander shouted. These are the ones from the legends. Someone whispered, the Warborn. Zarn made a mistake. They thought humanity was dead, but they had only been sleeping. Now, they were wide awake. The lead Zarn general ordered all ships to defensive position. Shoot them down. All weapons, fire. But it was too late. The first human warship moved faster than light. One Zarn cruiser exploded before it even locked targets. Another ship turned, then vanished in a white flash. The humans didn't just fight back. They hunted Dot from orbit. General Riker gave one simple order. No prisoners. Across the galaxy, silence fell. Hundreds of alien species stared at their screens. News feeds, military channels, secret spy transmissions. They all showed the same thing. Human warships. Dark and quiet, moving through space like shadows with fire inside them. The Zarn Dominion, once proud and powerful, was now running. They had called Earth Week. Soft, forgotten. Now their fleets were in pieces. Their admirals dead. Their colonies gone. No one could understand it. Earth had no army. One alien senator said, no weapons, no battles in 200 years. Another replied with shaking hands, then what are those things in the sky? A hidden chamber of the Galactic Council. A meeting began. The 12 high species of the galaxy sat around a glowing table. Some had claws. Some had feathers. Others floated in crystal shells. But all were afraid. A screen showed footage. Earth's retribution fleet moving toward the Zarn homeworld. Behind them, Zarn wreckage floated in space, burning slowly. The voice of the council speaker broke the silence. We have made a mistake, he said. We believed the humans had changed, that they had left war behind. An old lizard-like alien leaned forward. His scales were dull, his voice low. You fools. You don't know their history. I was there, saw the old wars. The humans didn't give up war. They chose peace, but they never forgot how to destroy. He pointed at the screen, and now they remember. Back on Earth's lead warship, the Havoc Blade, General Riker stood with arms behind his back. His face was calm, but his eyes burned with cold focus. A young officer turned to him. Sir, Zarn forces have abandoned Sector 9, 10, and 11. They're running. Riker didn't smile. Let them, another officer asked. Should we chase them? No, Riker said. We're not here to chase cowards. He pointed at the star map. We're going for their home. Meanwhile, on the Zarn homeworld, alarms screamed. The sky was full of fear. Civilians ran. Military ships tried to launch. Earth's fleet had already surrounded the planet. No escape in the royal chamber. Emperor Valxer pounded his staff on the floor. Where is Earth's message? Their demand, their offer for peace. A trembling advisor replied, They sent no message, my lord. Valxer's eyes narrowed. Then, what do they want? A voice came through the chamber, walls clear and sharp. It was Earth's first broadcast. One sentence. You killed our children. Now you'll remember what we are. Then the sky turned black. Earth's ships didn't drop bombs. They cut the sky with beams of light, precise, clean, deadly. They removed weapons first, then power stations, then command towers. Every Zarn base fell in minutes. Their planet's shield, once thought unbreakable, cracked like glass. The Warborn didn't speak. They didn't celebrate. They moved forward, silent, perfect, like ghosts of an old god returning in the Galactic Council's secret vault. The oldest members met in private. One, a glowing mist creature, asked, Can we stop them? Another, shaking, whispered, No. A third added, All we can do now is survive. And far above the burning Zarn capital, Riker watched it. All his voice soft but cold. Let this be the first lesson. We are not farmers. We are not lost. We are not weak. He stepped forward, and for the first time in 200 years, Earth made its new name known. We are the Warborn, and we remember everything. The galaxy trembled across thousands of systems, from icy moons to golden space stations. Everyone had heard the same words. We are the Warborn, and we remember everything. The footage of Earth's retribution fleet destroying the Zarn homeworld spread faster than light. People watched in silence. Some cried, others cheered, but most were afraid. For centuries, the galaxy had laughed. At Earth, humans were seen as weak farmers, soft scientists, and peaceful traders. They lived quietly on green planets and taught their children about hope. Now the truth was revealed. Earth had hidden its true power. Not because it was gone, but because it was waiting in a dark chamber far beyond the rim. A group of mercenary leaders watched the burning Zarn cities. One of them, a warlord with metal skin and glowing eyes, spat on the floor. We raided Earth. Colonies, for years, took their cargo, mocked their people. He looked at the screen again. No one told us they had gods sleeping beneath their soil. Another pirate captain leaned back, shaking her head. They didn't just fight, they destroyed. And they didn't even use their full strength. Long silence followed. Then she added, I'm leaving this business. I won't stand against the Warborn. She wasn't the only one. Dozens of criminal syndicates went quiet. Alien fleets canceled invasions. Entire planets changed their defense. Codes from watched the Zarkin front to prepare for Earth. But it wasn't fear alone. For some, it was awe in a distant library planet. A scholar of the ancient wars looked through his records. He whispered to himself, They used to say, Earth lost everything, but I see now. They just chose not to. Burn the galaxy. He turned the page. A forgotten phrase from human history stared back at him. Do not wake the sleeping lion. Back on Earth's lead warship, Havoc Blade, General Riker stood at the window, watching the stars. The Zarn were gone, but the galaxy was still watching. An officer stepped forward. Sir, transmissions come again. Hundreds, from every quadrant. Riker nodded. Play the first. A soft voice came through the speakers. It was from the Calorie Union, once allies, now distant observers. We seek no war, only peace. We offer tribute, protection, friendship. Another message followed. We surrender. Please don't come for us. Riker remained silent. He didn't smile. He didn't speak for glory. He wasn't here to become a king. He was here to send a message. The next planet they visited was not an enemy world, but a council planet, home of leaders who had stood silent. During the Zarn attack, Riker's fleet entered orbit without permission. No weapons were fired, but the message was clear. You watched us burn. Now you will watch us rise on the ground below. Council Speaker Tel Moro stood on the balcony, looking up at Earth's ships. He was old, wise, but now helpless. Beside him, his assistant asked, What do we do? Tel Moro gave a slow breath. We tell the truth. He walked to the broadcast room. All across the galaxy, screens lit up. The face of the speaker appeared tired, but honest. He spoke one sentence. We were wrong about Earth. They were never gone. Just patient. No. The galaxy must decide. Do we fear them or follow them? Not everyone wanted peace. Far from the center of the galaxy, in a system where light barely reached, a fleet waited in silence. These were not just pirates or rebels. They were something older, something forgotten. The Dravik Syndicate. They watched the fall of the Zarn Dominion and smiled in a cold chamber deep inside a hollow moon. The leader of the Dravika Pale, six-eyed creature named Varnak, the Cold, spoke to his generals. Earth has woken up. The galaxy bows. But we do not. One general hesitated. Their fleet is unlike anything we've seen. Their weapons, Varnak hissed. We've fought gods before. Let them come. The other fire that burns in the dark. Stradravik began to prepare. Meanwhile, on Earth's lead warship, Havoc Blade, General Riker listened to the newest reports. The Council now begged for cooperation. Old enemies offered trade routes. Human colonies that had once felt forgotten now stood proud. But Riker knew peace never lasted. He looked at the latest sensor feed, a shadow far from their route. No signal, no ID, just silence. Keep watching it, he ordered. He didn't trust silence anymore. Back on Earth, people watched the stars differently. Children no longer feared aliens. They cheered for the warborn. Statues were built for those who died on Arisnine. The boy who sent the signal was alive, saved by a scout team. He now sat in a recovery pod, watching cartoons. Too young to understand what he started. But Riker understood. He visited the boy. Luca opened his eyes, weak but smiling. Did you stop the bad guys? Riker knelt beside him. We did. Luca's voice dropped. Will they come back? Riker's face darkened. Keys. Someone always does. That night, Riker met with his war council. Admiral Cass, his oldest friend, leaned over the star map. The Dravikar moving. We picked up energy spikes near the dark systems. Old tech. Darned. Something worse. Dard stared at the blinking red dot. Then we strike first. But this war would be different. The Zarn made a mistake. They underestimated Earth. The Dravik knew exactly how dangerous humans were. And still, they wanted war on a quiet council world. Council Speaker Tel Moro met in secret with Earth's envoy, a tall woman named Commander Vieira. She wore no medals, no weapons, only a black uniform with a single silver line. "You're not here to make demands?" Telmaro asked. Vieira shook her head. "Earth wants no throne, only one thing." "What's that?" "Safety for our worlds, our children, our future." Telmaro leaned in. "And if the Dravic attack?" Vieira looked him in the eyes. "Then the galaxy will see what Earth does when it's no longer angry but focused." Far across the stars, Varnik's ship lit its engines. The Dravic fleet, made of twisted metal and ancient power, moved into the void, toward Earth, toward war. And, in the dark of space, Earth's retribution fleet turned to meet them. The second storm was coming, and this time it wouldn't just be revenge, it would be domination. The stars were no longer quiet. The Dravic fleet moved through space like a black wave. Their ships were not smooth or beautiful like Earth's. They were twisted, jagged metal, glowing red scars, and old engines that roared like beasts. At the front of this nightmare was Varnak the Cold, skidding in his throne of bones and wires. His 6 eyes watched the galaxy like a predator hunting wounded prey. "Humans believe they're gods now," he whispered to his second command. "But gods bleed." Meanwhile, Earth's retribution fleet waited in formation near the edge of Sector 17. Massive battlecruisers, stealth destroyers, carrier ships, each one powered by engines hidden from the galaxy for generations. General Riker stood on the bridge of the Havoc Blade, watching the holographic display of the incoming enemy fleet. "How many?" he asked. Admiral Cass answered. 300 ships. Their weapons are old, but brutal. We outmatched them, but barely." Riker didn't blink. "Then we fight smart. But this wouldn't be like the war with the Zarn." The Dravic didn't run. They didn't speak. They didn't fear. They came to destroy. Suddenly, alarms sounded. The enemy had dropped from warp speed. They were here. Space tore open. The black ships of the Dravok appeared, filling the sky like a swarm. Some were the size of cities. Others were fast and sharp, built for boarding and slaughter. Earth's ships locked into position. Lights glowed. Shields activated. Riker raised his voice. "Open channels. Across the galaxy, every world watched." The first human message was short. "We offered peace. You chose war. You will now see what we became after silence." And then the first shot was fired. A bright blue beam from Earth's flagship cut through the darkness. One of the Dravic carriers exploded into fire and metal. The battle had begun. Earth's ships moved like dancers in a deadly storm, smooth, sharp, precise. Their weapons were fast and advanced, but the Dravok were wild, unpredictable. They crashed into Earth's cruisers like wolves ripping through steel. One human destroyer went dark on board. Soldiers fought in hand-to-hand combat with boarding. Creatures that screamed like nightmares. But Earth didn't panic. They had trained for this in the heart of the Havoc Blade. Riker gave his next order. Release the Warborn from the ship's deep chambers. Warborn units launched into space, black-armored human warriors, bred for speed, power, and cold logic. They landed on enemy ships, broke through halls, and tore apart systems. "It's like shadows made of fury," they reminded the Dravok that humans were not survivors by luck but by design. Still, the Dravok kept coming. They had old tech gravity weapons, brain disruptors, dark bombs that made time slow. For a moment, the battle looked balanced. Then, Earth did the unexpected. General Riker gave the code, Project Revenant, activate. In the darkest part of the fleet, a hidden ship powered up. It was old. Very old. Not built by Earth's peaceful engineers, but by their ancient warriors. Long before the peace era, this ship had no name. It only had one mission: end everything. "It touches," the Dravok laughed, and they saw it, until it moved, faster than anything in space. It passed through the enemy fleet like a blade through water. Its weapons didn't fire beams. They erased ships from existence, one by one. The Dravik vessels vanished. Varnak watched his screen. His smile was gone. He stood up. No, he growled. No more games. He ordered every ship to focus on the Revenant, but it was too late. The war had turned. From Earth's orbit to distant colonies, humans stood together, not afraid, not divided, and not silent. Back on the Havoc blade, Riker looked at the shrinking enemy fleet. "We finished this," he said. "Today, the galaxy learns. Earth does not warn twice." The final moments of the war had begun. The Dravik fleet, once feared across the stars, was now broken. Dozens of their warships drifted in space, burning, cracked open, or already vanished. The darkness they brought was turning into light, but still, they fought in the center of the chaos. Varnak the Colds stood on the bridge of his flagship. Fire and sparks rained around him. His officers lay dead. And yet, he refused to run. "This is not over," he screamed into the void. "You think this is victory? No, it's only the beginning of your fall." He looked toward the screen, where Earth's warship, the Havoc blade, approached slowly, glowing with energy and battle scars. Behind it, the ghostly outline of the Revenant, Earth's forbidden weapon, loomed like a god without a face. Varnak raised his clawed hand to launch one final strike, but the screen changed. General Riker appeared calm, steady, deadly. Riker's voice was quiet, but it carried the weight of a storm. "You burned our colonies. You hunted our people. You woke a force that chose peace, but never forgot war. This is your end, Varnak." Varnak laughed, bitter and loud. "You humans will fall too, if not by me, then by your own fire." Face didn't change. We've faced extinction before, but we rose, we remember. Then, without another word, Riker gave the signal from orbit. Earth's fleet fired in perfect sync. Massive blue beams tore through Varnak's flagship. The metal screamed. Holes split open. The core cracked. The screen went black. The last Dravik ship exploded in silence. The war was over. For the first time in many years, the stars were quiet again. But it wasn't the same quiet as before. This silence felt stronger, heavy with meaning. Across the galaxy, planets held their breath, from peaceful colonies to deep space mining stations. People waited. Would Earth conquer? Now, would they demand tribute, rule, or revenge? But then, something unexpected happened. General Riker didn't call for surrender. He broadcast a message to all species, all leaders, and all free beings. Earth does not want to rule. We want peace, but a peace that respects us. If you come with trade, friendship, and truth, you are welcome. If you come with war, he paused, you will find us ready. That was all. Simple, clear, terrifying, and the galaxy listened. Soon after, treaties were signed. Ambassadors from dozens of species landed on Earth for the first time in generations. They didn't come with weapons. They came with open hands. Earth, once mocked and ignored, became something new. A symbol, a warning, a legend, they called them. Many names. The Warborn, the Silent Flame, the Children of Vengeance, but among human children. In schools across the stars, they learned one phrase above all: do not strike first. But if you do, never strike Earth. On a quiet farm under two suns, a small boy named Luca played in a field of flowers. He had grown a little taller. He laughed again, but at night he sometimes looked at the stars. He remembered the fire, the scream of ships, the silence of his family gone forever. And then he whispered the same words he once said into the beacon. Tell Earth, it's time. But this time, he smiled, because now, they listened.